All right, guys, so over the years I have done a bunch of build breakdown videos, which are definitely the most popular videos on the channel, way more popular than racing this car, the old car, any of the racing stuff. And some of the most popular build breakdown videos are other people's Foxbody. So it is the middle of winter here in Michigan. So I figured now might be a good time to give you guys a full rundown of my car. Every time I post a video of it, I do get asked a lot of questions, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or on YouTube, about the setup. So I figured today, I'm off on vacation. I'm gonna make a quick build breakdown of my car. It's kind of pulled apart right now. You can see the trans is out of it. There's some other things we got tore apart right now during the off season, but should still be able to give you guys a full rundown. So some basics on the car. It's a 93 coupe. It started life reef blue, believe it or not, which is my favorite color. Now it's red, which typically is my least favorite color of a car, but it's growing on me. It was a 4-cylinder car, and it was a 5-speed car to start. Obviously, all of that has changed over the years. Car's been repainted. It is now Corvette red. This is the color of a newer 06. I think you might be able to get it on the normal C7 too. But that's what color it is. It's Corvette red on the car, guys. A lot of people ask that. I thought it was vibrant red when I got it, but the guy who originally painted the car tracked me down on social media, gave me the paint code. So it is a GM paint code on this car. Looks awesome. Definitely one of the best reds, I think, out there. Really pops in the sun. Obviously, when I got the car, if you watched the first video, the paint was in horrible condition, but as a lot of you know, I do paint correction on the side and ceramic coating. So this car has been gone through a couple times now. Now it's coated with C-quartz, and it looks really good. We got a wing on the back. Didn't start life with that when I got the car. That's a Motion Raceworks strutless 15-inch wing, powder coated black. Doesn't have the spill plates on it right now. They're off getting re-powder coated. Had a little issue with those. So that's kind of the gist on the outside. We got a splitter on the car, a lower valance. It's got some nicer headlights on it. It's got a cowl hood, obviously, that you can see. V-Series weld wheels on it, Mickey Thompson Pros radials on the back, and just their skinny front runners on the front. Strange brakes all around. That's kind of the basics on the outside of the car. Probably will switch this hood up eventually. I don't love the hood on this car, and we might mini tub it, although the way it sits right now, it's really grown on me. When I first got this car, my plan was to chop it up, immediately mini tub it, slam it, but the way it sits is really growing on me, and the car goes straight every single time I let go of the button. So if something's not broke, don't fix it. I do drive this car on the street a lot, taking my kid to baseball practice in it, go to get groceries, beer runs, all types of stuff on the street. So having it up a little bit higher is not a horrible thing anyways. So I'm probably gonna leave the car at the ride height it is for now, but I'm gonna flip the camera around, guys, and we're gonna jump into this. All right, let's start in the interior here. Oh, gotta love that Foxbody door noise. All right, stock steering wheel. Actually, the steering wheel is off a earlier car because it has tilt and non-airbag wheel. I'm gonna leave this wheel in this car. I love the way it looks. Other things on the dash, we got a electronic fuel gauge there. It is a FT550 from Fuel Tech, wideband gauge over there. Deleted everything in the middle of this car. Bought some buttons from overseas, from Australia. Actually, these buttons are awesome. They light up. They're badass. Scott Rod center delete there. That is just, all that stuff is just wrapped in carbon fiber wrap. It's not real carbon. Hate to break it to you guys. It's plastic or aluminum. Precision Performance air shifter that we have hooked up obviously to the CO2. CO2 also runs the wastegate for boost control, and it shifts the car. This is the button on the shifter is my line lock. Button on the right is trans brake, and button on the left is the creep. The way Justin over at D&D Performance has this set up is I just hold this button. You guys will see a lot of cars when they're bumping in, the car gets real angry and upset and it's rocking before it leaves. With Fuel Tech, you can hold this button at a percentage and the car will literally just creep forward super slow, really stable. The car's not rocking or upset when it leaves, so definitely really cool. Doesn't have that aggressive bump in. It stages awesome. Just Kirky seats, RJS belts on both sides, cam lock belts. Same with window net. They just redid that. It is an 850 cert cage. It is a beautiful cage in this car. They did an awesome job. A guy here in Michigan did the cage. Looks killer. It's 850, but it does have this extra bar on it, so a little bit more structure than what you have to have for 850. Obviously, rear seat delete. You can see the subframe connectors in the floor running through. Have these nice clean panels, these door pulls. I love these things. I powder coated them black. Same with this trim piece. Yes, these handles are upside down. I have no idea they were like that when I got this car, but I am leaving it that way. Parachute handle is up there. That's kind of the basics on the interior. I tried to keep it as simple as possible in this thing. That's the basics on the interior. Street car, like I said, we drive this thing on the street a lot. Whew, gotta love that noise with Foxbody door shutting. All right, under the car now, we have Holley Twin 1800 fuel pumps. There's actually 2 pumps in each of these, and one of them is on a window switch. So once it sees over 2 pounds of boost, the second pump kicks on, and everything is AN lines all the way to the front. The only steel lines left on this car that we have to switch out are these transcooler lines. It is a 8.8 still in this thing, guys. Has 308 gears, 33 spline axles. Obviously, it has a spool, anti-roll bar. It's all straightened. Super nice back here. Strange double adjustable shocks, coilovers here in the back. Strange brakes, like I said before, weld wheels. And it's all just super clean back here. Everything's painted up. It looks awesome. For a race car / street car, it's about as clean as you're gonna find. Have a Stroud chute. Like I said, this is a strutless wing from Motion. Doesn't have the spill plates on it right now. 401k LOL license plate. Everyone loves that, except for my wife probably. Super tinted windows in this car. Gotta have tinted windows. There's the Weld V-Series up close. These were anodized, all black. Love the way this wheel looks. Definitely one of my favorite wheels of all times. Looks killer on this car for sure, especially with the fronts. I might black out the fronts completely eventually, but man, I love the back wheels on this car. Definitely one of my favorite of all times. When I'm over here, here's the trans. It's a TH400. It has a Pro brake. It was originally built by Hutch up in Canada. I just recently pulled it out and had the guys at JRC here locally go through it. We put a new input shaft in it, new drum, aluminum drum, JW bell on it. Like I said, it has a Pro brake, first gear leave only. It still has a 248 first gear in it. We did want to switch that first gear out to like a 233, 231, but no one has them right now, so 248 first gear is going to stay in this thing for now. Has a 308 rear gear in the car, and right now we're going through the traps. Had a lot of RPM, but we did another thing to the car this winter that should hopefully help with that. So let's pop the hood here and get to the good stuff. We have a Dart Iron Eagle block 8.2 deck. Has AFR 205 heads on it. It is a solid roller, custom ground comp cam. Got diamond pistons. It's 10.8 to 1. We do run it on E85. It has scat rods in it, a scat crank. It has diamond pistons that we just put in it to raise that compression up. The piston skirts were coated on the pistons from line-to-line coating, the braidable powder coating. The turbo kit on this car was done by Reed at Work Turbo. That is a Garrett 4788 worked over by Reed. It's good for about 1,300 horsepower, which is about where we're at. Car's probably making 1,200 or so right now. This winter, what I did is I changed out the shaft mount rockers that were in this thing, and now it has LGM Racing Development shaft mount rockers, so we should be able to RPM the motor much higher than we were before. Only pulley in it is the alternator. Has a big air-to-air intercooler in it, street car, that lives up front. All of the piping in this was also piping, valve covers, elbow, intake was all coated by line-to-line coating as well in this wrinkle black. You can see the Fuel Tech bulkhead that comes through, all super clean. Justin over at D&D Performance wired the car, and man, it is just killer. The wiring on this car for you know, a street car budget build is really incredible work of art. The exhaust obviously runs just straight out the side of the car. It's got a hyperactive crank trigger. I don't know if you can see it down there. Still running a distributor just for distribution, and a coil. Hopefully one of these days when I get a few more bucks, we'll convert this thing over to coil on plug. But for now, this is working well. Remote mounted oil filter. I don't know if you can see it down there, but it's one that you can just pull apart so you can look at it really easily. Moroso catch can runs off both valve covers into that puke tank overflow there for the water, which then runs out the back of the car. Zier water pump. It has ID 1700 injectors in it. Super Victor intake on it. It was converted over to EFI, obviously. It's got port injection in it now. QA1 coilovers up front as well. Strange brakes up here. A lot of stuff's been shaved in this car. You'll notice it has no antenna, has no fuel door in it. So pretty clean on the outside with all that stuff done. All the sensors in this thing are obviously Fuel Tech, oil pressure, a back pressure sensor on the turbo. Obviously it has a drive shaft sensor in the back. Vacuum coming off this valve cover. That tank down there is just the puke tank for the transmission, so it can fill up and then drain back down. Tile blow-off valves on it, and it has a tile 60 millimeter wastegate on it. I'll show you down there. It's got a this is the tile 60 millimeter wastegate. Obviously have a sensor in the wastegate as well. Has a engine diaper on it that's pulled off right now because the trans is out of it, and you need to change oil and stuff in the spring, but that's at Motion Raceworks. Diaper. It's actually a really simple combo. We're kind of at the limit of horsepower for the crank that's in this car. Might actually be pushing it a little bit. Turbo's getting close to being maxed out at 1,300 wheel. But like I said, this is just a street car, running in true street. Best time so far is an 8:16 at 168 miles an hour. We're hoping to put the car into the 7s next year. Should be able to do that, like I said, with the new rocker arms. Let us RPM the motor. I did also want to mention I ordered a Pro Torque bolt together converter, big dollar converter. Way too nice a part for this car. Is a $3,000 torque converter, but gives us the ability to change the stators, not have to send it in to get the thing cut apart. So they're building that right now, and that should also bring down the RPM at the big end, because the converter that was in the car, which we don't even know what it was, there's nothing on it, had about 12% slip. The goal's 6% slip, so that will bring the RPM down at the big end. That combined with having the shaft mount rockers in this thing now, we should be able to RPM the motor higher and not be on the rev limiter through the traps, which should theoretically put the car into the 790 range. 90mm throttle body. It does have a idle control valve in it. Thing's awesome, especially living here in Michigan. So the thing starts right up every time, even on E85 when it's cold, which is pretty awesome. No vacuum pump. If you watch a previous video of this thing on the dyno, you'll see why we deleted the vacuum pump. Now we just have the single pulley or idler coming off the crank just to run the alternator. So that's the only thing that the belt runs is the alternator on this thing. Obviously, subframe connectors, Weldon subframe connectors, torque box. And the car is pretty light. It's like 3,000 pounds with meat in it, which, you know, for a street car, that's not super heavy, not super light. But, yeah, that's the goal isn't to make it much lighter. Going to leave the glass in it. It's got roll-up windows. Want to be able to, like I said, drive it on the street and go to the track and run it in True Street and hopefully be competitive next year. So that's just kind of a down and dirty build breakdown of the car. If there's other stuff you guys have questions on, please ask in the comments. I try to respond to anyone that comments on a video. Find me on TikTok, the Freedom Fox, or on Instagram, PJ_McMillan. And happy to answer anyone's questions on you know, the comments below or on social. Consider subscribing if you like this kind of content, guys. We got some cool stuff coming up with the car. We're gonna get it over on the dyno at D&D Performance here over the winter, and hopefully get down to Bradenton if the converter gets here in time to do some winter testing. So that's the gist of it. If you like this kind of content, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you do. Thanks for watching. Peace!